So, on anxiety, it's like the thing that becomes anxious is not your soul. Your soul doesn't become anxious. Your soul is like this calm, cool state of of just of peace, of bliss, right? Soul is soul is the soul is. And what is creating those feelings of anxiety is those neurochemical and neurotransmitters, neurochemical impulses, neurochemicals, neurochemical impulses in your brain that are happening as a result of the situation, which is triggered all by electrical impulses, because there's a whole bunch of thoughts being generated, because you're triggering your mind to open these black holes of thought in your mind that just overexpend the amount of energy in your mind due to an underlying reason. That's your goal, your duty is to figure out what that reason is. What is the reason? Acknowledge everything that you're feeling, all the pain, all the diagnoses, anything, all of it. But now, with this knowledge, you use this knowledge. You don't just sit on it and then, you accept it. But you use this knowledge to understand yourself better. Okay, so you understand why. Understand why. When it comes to you, anything about you that you learn, or that you, as you go through your life, especially if not for anything else, if you don't ask why for anything else, ask yourself why when it comes to you. When you make a decision, when you say something, ask yourself, why did I do that? Because your goal here is to understand yourself, to be a scientist of self. As I heard Amina she's an astro teacher, she's amazing, from Instagram. She said, we're scientists of self, right? And we really are. We're scientists of self. And the main way that we have to analyze and understand ourselves is through our behavior. And it's really important. It's really important. And it's like our number one duty is to figure out why. Because once we have that, we understand the core, then everything let's say our mind is a garden, right? A lot of us have heard that before, like water your mind, water your garden, plant the right seeds and stuff. Let's say it is a garden, right? And there's roots everywhere, right? And your garden is on a bed of soil, and all these roots, can release things into the soil. And you want to understand which plants, what do I want to leave growing in the garden of my mind, right? And when you find something, right, like a belief or a thought or an identity, anything, just you. Don't be afraid to question yourself. Don't be afraid to question yourself. It's not going to make you, you're not going to lose anything. You're going to gain. You're going to gain so much. You're going to lose old antique ways of viewing yourself, old ways of viewing yourself. And you're going to be able to make decisions for yourself and figure out, who do you want to be? What do you believe in? What do you want to believe? Do you agree with that? Or do you want to make your life based off of this? Make your own decisions. Ask yourself questions. Figure out what you think. What are the most important things to you in your life? What are the most important ethics to you in your life? And that is your core principles, your core values. And that, if those are the main roots in your garden, and then everything else will bloom from that, right? So figure out what is actually planted in your garden, and only allow those things that are most important to you, that are your core values, that are like to me, trust. God, trust. Can you just take a moment and think about how beautiful it is, would be, has been, to just fully trust somebody and know that you're good because you can completely trust this person. They'll never betray you. They'll never lie to you. They'll never, none of that, right? And that you can be that for somebody else, because it's not just about somebody being it for you, but it's about somebody being it for you, being it for somebody else. That we can create this loop of like healing and connection and positive feedback in the world, right? And to be that for somebody else, you have to be that for yourself first, because you are your experiment. You are your case study. You are how you understand other people. By understanding yourself more, you can understand other people. That's the magic, because we have so much similar things, right? And even if you don't have the same things as them, and maybe you can't agree with them, you can understand them, because you can now see what a complex individual you are, and how much stuff you have going on in your life at any given point in time, and all the stuff that you're working through in your mind and in your heart and in your environment and your relationships. And everybody else has that too. And everybody else is different. Everybody has a different slice of the pie, and the pie is the pie. Like, and we have no idea what the pie looks like. We don't know what it tastes like. We just know that we are a slice in the pie. Period. So yeah, have some self-compassion. Definitely self-curiosity, because if you are like sad and like, whenever I feel sad, depressed, and like I feel like as humans too, it's like pretty hopeless. But it's really not. It's really not. And it's important to be able to start to cultivate that ability to see past that, because there is something past that. There is, and it's blissful and it's beautiful. And it just requires you to show up for yourself by asking yourself questions, getting to know yourself, developing a relationship with yourself, trusting yourself, honoring yourself, making decisions that create that within you. Because choices are how we create ourselves. What we choose to say, what we choose to act, how we choose to dress, how we choose to believe, how we choose to show up in life is how we become who we are. So always be in question of that, and always be looking to improve that, and accept where you are always, and where you want to go, and what you have to do, and to get to that goal. And yeah, just be curious about yourself, and ask yourself questions, and accept yourself, and understand yourself, and find compassion for yourself, and develop your beautiful garden with your core values, your core roots that are going to be growing into these beautiful plants. You don't want anything to corrupt your soil. Yeah. Okay. Sweet dreams.